Today, we'll spend the time to understand the IPO evaluation framework that I use as I think about subscribing to IPOs. We'll then use it to analyze GPT Healthcare IPO, which is on its last day today of subscription. Should you subscribe? Is that one question we'll try to answer through this IPO evaluation metrics. So let's go. My name is Ashish Thomas. I'm an IIM graduate and a management consultant. My daily job is to evaluate firms, understand their risks, and anticipate market moves. And I thought, why not apply all of that to the stock market? So here we are, and let's jump right in. We begin with a quick introduction of the initial public offering, then understand my evaluation framework, test this framework against the information that we know about the company, and then answer the question, subscribe kare ki nahi? So GPT Healthcare ने 525 crores का IPO निकाला है. आज Feb 26 को इसका फाइनल डेट है. प्राइस बैंड सेट हुआ है बिटवीन 177 to 186 एंड 80 के लॉट्स में खरीदना पड़ेगा. On 29 February ये मार्केट में लिस्ट होने वाला है. With that introduction, let me take you through the methodology of evaluating an IPO. There are many ways to do it. This is my framework that I use as I think about subscribing to an IPO. We begin with an understanding of what is the purpose of the IPO. क्या ये नए कैश से कोई ग्रोथ करेंगे या तो ये इन्वेस्टर को कैश देके एग्जिट करा देंगे. ग्रोथ कर रहे हो तो दिस डेफिनेटली अ गुड बिजनेस केस टू इन्वेस्ट. नेक्स्ट वील सी द मार्केट सेंटिमेंट. हाउ मेनी टाइम्स इट हैज बीन सब्सक्राइब्ड. Significant oversubscription हुआ है क्या? Because that can indicate that there is a profit booking in mind of the investors or people who are going into it. Third, we'll see the grey market performance. How are the large HNI investors viewing the share? Are they already paying above the market price to get in early into the scheme? My fourth metric is the industry performance. Are there strong market drivers that can contribute to the growth of the industry? It could be demographic, it could be regulatory. And इसके बाद we'll see a series of company-related evaluations. First, we'll do the business value proposition to see अगर उनके पास right products हैं, service है, talent है to grow. Whether they have a good strategy or any way to win the market, which will be a sixth pillar. Then, of course, the risk, what can stop the bullish growth, which will be followed by the financial strength of the company. Finally, because we have a limited knowledge of the firm, we are going to compare it against the peers to see how their efficiency, profitability, and solvency ratios look like. Or to simply put, how well do they use their money as of today. And finally, the valuations. Is the price really worth it when you compare against the market? So this is my 10 criteria scale. Each parameter will be evaluated on a scale of 1 to 3, with 3 being the best and the highest. And let's see where does GPT Healthcare fall when we start evaluating now based on its information. So is the money being raised by the IPO being used for business growth? No. 92.4% of the IPO is offer for sale, which will allow Banyan Tree Growth Capital to exit from its 32.6% stake. The remaining 7.6% of the IPO is fresh, which will be used for purchasing the medical equipments. So only 40 crores is going to be used for the company growth. This is definitely a concern for me. So, one from my criteria perspective. Next, is the IPO substantially oversubscribed? Again, no. After 2 days of subscription, actually it only stands at 0.085 times. Retail portion is 1.25 times subscribed, which actually gives an indication that this is not a profit booking game which is happening. It's not the top of mind for the investors. Stocks are unlikely to crash on day one if it's so undersubscribed. So definitely we'll give it a 3. What about the grey market? The current premium is only at 13 rupees. So again, first thing, it's not looking like a profit booking scheme. However, 13 rupees is really low, which means there's some reason for these HNIs and other institutions that they're not very bullish about the stock. It could be an indicator of weak listing. So again, give it a 2 for it. Yeah, there is a support at an industry level to grow. Yes. Now, if you think about it, the Ayushman Bharat Yojana, which is there, it is offering free healthcare based on income group. There is high affordability now with insurance, so a lot of wellness-related checks as well as elective surgeries are happening. In the Northeast specifically and the East region where this company operates, there are several government-focused health schemes which are bringing people back to the hospital. The per capita income is growing, so there's a lot more investment which is happening in the healthcare as we have seen across the different economies as they grow. And finally, the medical tourism, while it is a very small portion, it's still worth $12 billion. And 57% of it is coming from Bangladesh, which is really close to where GPT Healthcare has its hospitals. So definitely high support from the industry. So earns 3 out of the on the parameter. Does it have a strong business proposition? Now it operates under the ILS brand in really underpenetrated and highly dense areas of West Bengal and Agartala. It has around 560 beds across the 4 hospitals, which along with a strong network of full-time and visiting consultants, which really is good. The concerning point is that the bed occupancy rate is only 54%, whereas its immediate competitors like Apollo, AMRI are above 65, as high as 70 to 73%. So unsure right now if this is just the brand issue which is happening, but more concerning is tomorrow when these bigger competitors start moving into this attractive region, can they really survive? So I'm going to give it a 2 for now. Are there solid prospects? They're well positioned to capitalize on the growth in the East. They're already there. Their next set of hospitals in Raipur and Ranchi are lined up. The new hospitals will be actually asset light, so the land and the building will be on lease and they'll just walk in with their operations. So again, they'll be able to hit all their financials really fast. They're also investing heavily in medical tech and they're already offering data-driven personalized digital ecosystem to the patients. So definitely a lot of growth areas for this company. However, my concern is that this all is happening in a very limited region and at least 2-3 साल लगेंगे for these hospitals to come up and they start getting operationalized. So again, it's a 2 for me at this point of time if you think about the company. क्या कोई major risks हैं? Yes, all the hospitals are in the same geography. So इससे 2 big risks हो जाते हैं. Number one is if there's a new large branded entrant which enters, people might think of shifting into the new hospital or the new brand. And अगर कोई बंद होता है या protest होता है or there's any kind of operation closure which happens in a particular state, the entire operation of the company gets impacted. Now that's the geographical risk and the socio-economic risk in the same geography which is really impacting the company. बाकी आपकी जो business risk है, regulations, competitions, availability of talent है already. So for me, it's going to be it's a high risk for me. Are the financials strong? Yes, it has a high revenue growth of 13%, EBITDA of 17% and a PAT of 20%. It has a low debt to equity ratio of 0.4, which means it can take more debt if it wants to grow. The ratios are really good at 25%, so company is efficiently using its resources right at now. So a really profitable company which is there. So definitely a 3 for me when you think from a just purely financial perspective. Now if I were to take the financials and compare it against the peers is where it starts getting a little murky. What I've done is I've put a small excerpt of some of the popular firms in the market. If you think about it, GPT Healthcare is more or less performing at the average industry standard. That's how all the other companies are also performing. There are some instances where in ROE and ROC they are better performing, but it just means that it's more worthwhile to offer a larger, well-established player which has a proven strategy, which has a clear indication of where they are going to invest in the market. Now, that's why I'll give a 2 for this company as such. And finally, if I think of the valuation, again, it's right price. If you look at EV by EBITDA, if you look at PE ratio, it's just right there at the industry valuation or multiples. Now, with the forecast and the earnings that we saw, there is a possibility that the re-rating of these valuations will happen as new earning numbers come in and the new revenue numbers come in. So, but for now, it's fair price. So, it's 2 for me at the current price which is there. As more information comes in, we'll again revisit the stock and see if there is a potential to grow and invest in the company. With that, this is the IPO Evaluation Framework score. While there are a couple of things that stood out, most of the parameters are either average or poor based on the framework. Now, if you think about it, anything less than 25, which means stock has less than 5 parameters going for it in the direction, is not really a great investment at this point. GPT Healthcare actually got a score of 21, which means, in my opinion, I would rather wait for the stock to list, take positions as this information asymmetry reduces, कोई और information आएगा तब इस market में घुस सकता है. And we already know, हमने देखा पहले कि firm की earnings तो improve हो सकते हैं. And there are new hospitals which can come in the next 2 to 3 years. तो वहाँ पे जब थोड़ा information आ जाता है, तब ये stock के अंदर घुसना, I mean, it might make more sense according to me. Final thoughts. Before we go there, अगर आपको कोई भी चीज़ अच्छा लग रहा हो वीडियो तो please लिखना यहाँ पे. Do like, share and subscribe the video and do let me know what is the next IPO that you want me to look into. We can use this IPO framework and we can evolve it together as we learn more things. Do not forget to click the bell icon to get all the notifications. With that, the IPO is to allow for an exit of an investor. That's the bottom line. The asset-light model can work, but large entrants can create a lot of pressure in the market. There are other options in the same segment which can provide you better return on the investment and a little less riskier option to go for. So only if you're a long-term investor with an above-average risk appetite, should you consider investing. This is like a long-term wait that you would have to do. Otherwise, you can wait and watch. As no new information comes in, there can be a really good time to invest in the company. That's all from me today. I hope that has given you an indication and understanding of how I evaluate IPOs and how you would think about evaluating IPOs in the future. Do like the video. Please drop in a comment if you like something or anything that I should change. आपके comments काफी valuable रहेंगे as I continue to build the channel. Do subscribe if you haven't already and please share this with all the like-minded investors. Do note that I'm not SEBI registered, so all of this, the views and the framework are completely my own. They are my independent view and analysis. Please do your own research too and let me know what you think about GPT Healthcare and the entire IPO evaluation matrix. Thank you.